You talk about the evolution of your political journey. You started with family responsibilities that kept you with a low profile first, right?
That's right. For me, my journey was a slow one. I had commitments to my family, to my children, and to my work responsibilities. When my children graduated from school, my mother came to live with us. She had...
How old was she?
She was 92 when she retired, and she moved in with us, and she was with us for several years. She needed attention because of the onset of senile dementia. She broke her hip twice. She was on a downhill slide at that point and passed away at Annaberg Manor. At that point, my family responsibilities had diminished to the point where I was able to become more active in my community through joining various groups and associations.
That was 2004?
That was around 2000 when I began to branch out into joining associations and groups, becoming active in my church. And then from there, it was a slow progress into, I had always been a lifelong Democrat, but had never been an activist Democrat. And I proceeded on to be more active in the Democratic Party. But that was about 2003, 2004, around in there. And then...
What did that involve, the activism, to begin with?
The Manassas Park Democratic Committee was not hugely active at that time, so I would go over to Manassas City and sit in on their meetings, and I assisted with several fundraisers, and I found them to be a warm, loving, and open group of people. I decided at that point that there was a place for me to be more active in the party, and I had the time, the energy, and the commitment. So when Harry Parrish passed away...
He was a delegate.
He was Delegate Harry Parrish, someone who was well loved by both sides of the political aisle.
Was he Democratic or...?
He was a Republican.
He was a Republican.
Yes, he was a Republican who had a great deal of integrity. I saw that there was not a strong Democrat that was stepping forward to challenge the Republican who was stepping forward to run for Harry Parrish's seat. So I made the decision to run. I had previous to that taken the Sorensen Institute for Candidate Training Program, thinking that at some undetermined date down the line I would run at some point. But the decision was really forced upon me when Delegate Parrish passed away. And so I made the decision, and it was the best decision I ever made. I would not trade the experiences that I had for anything in the world.
That was in 2006.
2006 special election. And then I ran again in the general election.
That was a very close election.
It was 47, 52.8, something like that. Jim Webb had wonderful coattails. And then I ran again in 2007. That also was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. It was tremendous. We opened a campaign office in the heart of downtown Manassas City. And it was a gathering point, a focal point for those who wanted to participate in democratic politics. Every time someone runs, they increase the structure in a particular area. So the framework that we laid down in 2006 was increased in 2007 and has been increased dramatically because Barack Obama ran and also opened a campaign office in Manassas City.
Now, Prince William has been known for the tough stance on illegal immigration that was taken. How did that affect your campaign?
It did affect the campaign in 2007. There's certainly no doubt about it. those of us who were willing to acknowledge that there was definitely a problem, I mean, I did see the corollary issues that revolved around the concept of illegal immigration. I knocked thousands and thousands and thousands of doors. I saw cars parked on lawns. I saw streets where I wondered if a fire truck could make it down the street for all the cars that were not appropriately parked. I knocked doors where garbage had been piled high on either side of the front step. But we needed to focus on how to cure the problem. We needed to focus on what we could do as a community rather than to make promises that we could not keep. And that's what my opponent did. He made promises that he could not keep. You know, law enforcement itself is well aware of what it can do and what the federal government should do. So I find that we are now returning to a point of normalcy where we can sit down and discuss this issue. You know, this issue it's not about who can make people the angriest. It's not about who can yell the loudest. It's about who is going to work towards problem solving. And I've always considered myself a problem solver.
And what was the most important issue that you wanted to address as a delegate?
The most important issue to me is the protection of the core services of the Commonwealth: education, health, and public safety. Education is extremely important because you can turn an area into a place that no one wants to live in if the school systems are not what they should be.